What's going on, guys? It's Steve, and today I'm actually coming to you with a video from Mikasa, from the house. And this is not the normal type of video that we like to make, but it's just one that I thought that I would, I don't know, put my 2 cents in, get in on a little bit, just talk about a little bit. And the subject is Galaxy's Edge out at Disneyland in Anaheim. There's been a lot of stuff going around over the last couple of days about how it's just not, it's not busy, it's not crowded, the wait times are not crazy or out of control. There's not a mob of people that are waiting to experience Galaxy's Edge. And leading up to Galaxy's Edge opening, you would have thought it would have been the opposite. You would have thought it would have been something completely and totally different from what is actually going on out there at Galaxy's Edge. So, okay, so here it is on Fox News. I know a lot of you guys may not like Fox, but whatever. Fox has the story, and it's not just Fox. It's other sites too have been talking about the low crowds at Galaxy's Edge. And one of the things that took me off guard, or not off guard, but just one of the things that kind of stood out to me is in this article where it says that guests at the California theme park claim that the park isn't as crowded as they expected, with some people going as far as to describe it as a ghost town. A ghost town. We're talking about a Star Wars land that hasn't even, what is this? This is first week of July. We're talking about a Star Wars land that's only been open for, I don't know, what, a month then or something, a couple of weeks. It's only been open to the regular public for the last couple of weeks. And people are describing this thing as a ghost town, that it's not crowded, it's not busy. Look, like this is the walkways through Adventureland. Like, that looks quiet. I mean, for Disneyland or World, I mean, that looks very quiet. And look at Main Street. I mean, that is unreal. That reminds me of what Disney World here in Orlando looked like after 9/11 or something. Like, I remember coming here in the early 2000s and in like September, and you could see like an empty Main Street. This is Galaxy's Edge. Like, this is Disneyland going with Galaxy's Edge, and it's just not crowded. It's not busy. The queues or the lines for Smuggler's Run are really short. And there's a lot of debate and questions about why that might be. Some people are saying that everyone's got their opinions, fair enough. So some people are saying that it could be due to Disney having annual pass holders blocked out, which is very possible, because if you guys aren't familiar, Disneyland is more of what's considered a locals park. There's tons and tons and tons of people that attend Disneyland on a regular basis that are annual pass holders. They are locals. So maybe they're just not able, they're just waiting for the pass holder blackout dates to be lifted so they can come experience Galaxy's Edge. I don't know. But then I was thinking about this too. If I lived in Southern California and I am a huge diehard Star Wars fan, I mean, I would just buy a ticket anyway. Even though I was an annual pass holder, I wouldn't want to wait that long. And I would think that there's other people out there that if you're passionate, if you're very passionate still about something, that you would, you would just buy your ticket and go. Like, why would, I mean, I guess some people, look, yeah, if you're a big family or something, you don't have to buy tickets for everybody. But still, like the diehard passionate Star Wars fans, you would think that they would want to go anyway. And it doesn't look like that's the situation, or that that's what's happening. So yeah, when Galaxy's Edge first opened, you guys all know there was the reservation system, or you had to have, well, at the very, very beginning, you had to be staying at one of their resorts to get in, and then they had the reservation system after. But now there's no reservations or nothing, and Galaxy's Edge is just, it's wide open, just come on. Like, I was reading that the average wait time for Smuggler's Run is only like 20 or 30 minutes. What is that? Like 20 or 30 minutes? I wait to ride Haunted Mansion here at the Magic Kingdom, which has been there for 300 years. I wait to ride that 20 or 30 minutes, if not much, much longer. So to ride a brand new, not only Star Wars attraction, but just a brand new Disney attraction, and have such a short wait time, there's definitely something going on there. And I'm not, I mean, everyone can have their ideas as to what it could be. I don't know if I've ever really explained it. My background is in marketing, so as a marketer, I could try and break it down that I can see issues. And, here's the thing. Let's look at, let's compare Star Wars Land Galaxy's Edge to what it should be compared to, which is Harry Potter, whether it's Diagon Alley or Hogwarts. You know, Harry Potter. Okay, let's compare it to Harry Potter. The Wizarding World, I'm sorry. Wizarding World or Diagon Alley. I don't care what you do over there. It's crowded, it's packed, it's busy. You know, when everyone goes to Universal, yes, they want to go see King Kong. Yeah, they want to go ride The Simpsons and Men in Black. But I think most people, when they go to Universal, the goal is to do those things in addition to Harry Potter. Like, you're going to Universal to do Harry Potter, and everything else is kind of an addition. And, you know, it's interesting when you look at it from a marketing perspective. They just opened a Universal here in Orlando. I'm sure you guys all know, Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, which I still haven't gotten over to do yet, because every time I get ready to do it, it's either delayed or it's closed or it's storming outside like it is right now while I'm making this video. But I don't care what time of the day it is. Hagrid's is packed. Look, when that thing first opened, it had like a 10-hour wait. And yeah, I mean, some of that wait was due to technical problems. I know, you know, the ride has been having some mechanical issues, which is kind of normal, more normal for Universal, I would say, than Disney when it's a new attraction. But something kind of normal as they get all the quirks out of it, and you know, whatever they're doing to get that ride tippy-top perfect. But the point what I'm trying to make is that something like Hagrid's a brand new attraction that I don't think has gotten nearly the amount of press, coverage, hype that a Star Wars Land has been getting. Why is it so much more busy? Why is it so much more crowded? And see, here's the thing. The Star Wars is such a hot button issue, like when you talk about it among Star Wars fans, whether it's the diehard fans that have, you know, you were there when New Hope came out, or you came on maybe in the late 90s and came into that prequel Phantom Menace era, Clone Wars era, or maybe you're just being exposed to Star Wars now with these with the Disney Star Wars. But two things I try to think about is, one is the Star Wars diehard fan might be somebody like me that puts on a little Wampa hat and, you know, wears a t-shirt or something. Okay, I grew up on Star Wars. I obviously I didn't see the original trilogy in the theaters. I was a little too young for that, but definitely like growing up, like I grew up, okay, let me think about it this way. I grew up like on the VCR era. So what I mean by the VCR era is we didn't have access to YouTube, Netflix, and every streaming thing you can think of. We didn't have a million DVDs. We had a couple of cassette tapes, and we had a VCR. And probably some of the first movies that I guess I had in my house, cassette tape-wise, would have been Star Wars. So even though, yes, I didn't see the original trilogy in the theaters as I was a little too young, I still grew up on the original trilogy because the movies were on VHS. VHS was something pretty new in those mid-'80s. And of course the toys. I mean, every boy, I gotta be careful when I say that in this day and age, every person that loved Star Wars, the movies, that was in my age range, had the toys. We had our Luke Skywalkers, we had our Millennium Falcons, our Edettes, all that stuff, and that's what we played with. And it wasn't just like, this guy plays with Star Wars, and this guy does this. No, I mean like everybody, my cousins, the friends, the neighborhood guys, like, because I think we lived in a time where it was all about one thing, not all about like today, 3,000 things. Like there's 3,000 things that people can be involved in today because of the internet, because of the way we receive our entertainment and our media. But back then, there was only Madonna. There was only Michael Jackson. There was Star Wars. Today, I don't even know who the pop stars are anymore. I mean, there's a new pop star every day popping up on YouTube or popping up on some new social media app that I haven't even heard of yet or something. You see what I'm saying? So I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that I think Star Wars, we're in a whole new era. We're bringing something from a different time period into this time period. And I just think that Star Wars today maybe just doesn't have, it's hard to say this, it doesn't have the pull that it had pre-Disney buying it. I think like with The Last Jedi, with The Force Awakens, with some of the decisions in Disney, you know I love you guys. I love Disney, so don't punish me for saying this, but just being honest, sharing honest opinions. There's a lot of people out there that are just not happy with some of the story writing and some of the direction that Star Wars has gone in the Disney era. And I think some of that initial, like when I first heard that Disney was buying Star Wars, I was just so excited because I was thinking like multi-billion-dollar company is going to own Star Wars theme parks. I love Disney movies. I love what Disney usually does with, at that time I'm thinking like Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm a huge fan of. So I was envisioning like, it's going to be like a Star Wars Pirates of the Caribbean. Like they're going to take what they did with Pirates and do it with Star Wars. And then of course they'll do, something with the theme parks. Maybe they'll just build a standalone park. I had so much excitement. I think a lot of people did have a lot of excitement, like that maybe Disney owning Star Wars, we would get this awesome sequel trilogy that me, from my generation, felt like would match up to the originals and the prequels. There's a lot of people in my generation that don't feel like the sequel trilogy matches the originals, but that's a whole other subject. I don't want to get into that one too much. But I do believe it has something to do with possibly what's going on here at Galaxy's Edge in Anaheim. And that is that I think a lot of the excitement with Star Wars in general has just kind of waned. It's just kind of, I'm not even that excited. And I'm a huge diehard Star Wars guy. I really am. Like, I know a lot of people say, I'm a Star Wars fan. But no, I really am a big fan. My brother's a big fan. I grew up in a household of big fans. I watch the movies all the time. When I'm working, I'll put some clips on and watch some clips. And I haven't actually ventured out to Galaxy's Edge myself yet. And there's got to be a reason why. And I think personally, here's my thing. I'm not super excited. Look, I'm excited about anything Disney does. I'm excited about Pandora. I haven't seen Pandora the movie in, I don't know, when did it come out? Has it been 10 years? But I love Pandora. I love the attraction. The ride is fun. I'm not excited I've tried to rewatch Pandora before, or Avatar, and it usually just puts me to sleep. But I know I'm kind of mumbling here, or rambling. But what I wanted to say is, with Star Wars, there was this excitement that it would be this amazing Disney achievement in my mind, and I think in a lot of fans' mind, that like we were going to get our Disney park, and I think some of us, a lot of people, their hopes kind of got dashed with the way that the Force Awakens and then really the way The Last Jedi went. We started to realize that probably Disney Star Wars isn't going to pan out the way that we would like to have seen it go, and I think that has really bled over into Galaxy's Edge in the sense that Galaxy's Edge is not, we're not taking the Millennium Falcon on the Death Star or something. Like we're not visiting Hoth, we're not going to Dagobah, we don't get to see Luke Skywalker, don't get to see Darth Vader. I'm not even sure, like, Galaxy's Edge, there's nothing there that excites me. I guess, like, the idea of going to Black Spire Outpost is like, it's not Star Wars. It's like this. So here's Star Wars, the Star Wars I know, and then there's just parallel, it's like Batuu and Black Spire Outpost exist in this parallel universe with Star Wars. Whereas at the Wizarding World in Diagon Alley, we actually get to experience what is in the movies themselves. So like, here is Harry Potter, here's Hogwarts. I'm in Hogwarts. You know what I mean? Like, here is Diagon Alley. I get to visit Diagon Alley. But like, Batuu, the planet Batuu has nothing to do with Star Wars, in my opinion. I understand like it exists in the universe of Star Wars, but it doesn't, it's like in The Walking Dead. You have the original Walking Dead that everyone, up until recently loves, with Rick Grimes, or formerly with Rick Grimes. And then you have Fear the Walking Dead, which exists in the same universe, but you don't really ever touch each other. Like, they're here. Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. Star Wars prequels and original trilogy, and this Galaxy's Edge. It's not Star Wars to me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I know that can offend people. I don't mean it to be offensive. I'm just being honest. And I think this is probably, I'm not the only person that feels this way. Galaxy's Edge is not Star Wars to me or something. Like it's inside of the Star Wars universe, but it's not Star Wars. Like, I would have been super thrilled and excited to see a Death Star. Super thrilled and excited to somehow encounter Darth Vader at Galaxy's Edge. Super excited to encounter Yoda. Maybe go train with Yoda. So I think that's a big problem. I think for a lot of people, it just doesn't, when they see the videos on YouTube of Galaxy's Edge, or when they see the pictures and whatever on social media of Galaxy's Edge, I think for a lot of people, they're just like, it doesn't, nothing there feels like Star Wars. There's no Luke Skywalker. There's no Han Solo. And the weird thing with that is that you actually had to bring out Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, George Lucas, and am I forgetting anybody? But I think that's the big three they brought out for the opening of Galaxy's Edge on opening night. But then they're not actually in Galaxy's Edge at all. And I don't even know that they're referenced. I could be wrong. Maybe there's some Easter eggs that reference them, but there's no original trilogy stuff. Like, how cool would have it been to go to Jabba the Hutt's palace, or to go to Naboo, or to go to, I don't know, like see the Imperial Senate or something. Like, these type of things for my generation of Star Wars fan is like how excited I would be to go see Michael Jackson perform Thriller. You know, like it would, like it's this like I don't know, back then we had a different view of our entertainment, and it was embedded in us. So like Star Wars, like those Star Wars movies are in us. It's such like an important part of our culture. It's in the Death Star is part of American culture. Darth Vader is part of American culture. I don't feel like anything from the new Star Wars movies is part of American culture. It's another movie, and they're not even that great. I'm just being honest. Like, it's Star Wars. The best part of those movies is maybe the soundtrack. So it's still, Star Wars soundtrack or something. But John Williams, I'm sorry, but there's nothing iconic to me in those new Star Wars movies, and I think that's how it is for a lot of people. Therefore, they're not rushing to Galaxy's Edge to experience it. They're not rushing to see like there's no cultural icon to go see there. There's not a Luke Skywalker, there's not a Han Solo. There's nothing like iconic about Galaxy's Edge. Whereas Harry Potter at Universal is very iconic in that you can see Harry Potter, you can see his Hogwarts, you can see Diagon Alley, Hermione, like I don't remember, Snape is not, anyway, I don't think Snape is there. But anyway, you can see Dumbledore, you can see all the iconic Harry Potter characters, scenes, and so forth at Universal, but you don't get any of that. Unless, for some reason to you, like some of these new characters are iconic to you, but let's just be honest, they're not. I mean, they haven't reached that level. Rey has not reached the level of Harry Potter. Snoke has not reached the level of Voldemort, sorry. Like, Voldemort is an iconic villain. There is no iconic villain, or Kylo Ren is not an iconic villain compared to Voldemort or Darth Vader or something, or the Emperor. There's a reason why, like, what am I trying to say? I forgot what I was going to say there. But anyway, I think that's a big thing too. There's none of the Star Wars icons are available at Galaxy's Edge, like all the Harry Potter icons are available at the Wizarding World or Diagon. I mean, if I went to the Wizarding World or Diagon Alley and there was no reference of Harry Potter or Hermione or Voldemort or Dumbledore, etc., I think it would be the same problem. You would just feel like you're in this Harry Potter universe, but you're over here somewhere. And that's how Star Wars feels. Like Star Wars original trilogy, prequels, Galaxy's Edge, like I'm in the universe of Star Wars, but I'm not actually in this universe. Like, we're just floating around in here somewhere. I want to be over here, though. And I think that's where a lot of people want to be. I can almost 99% guarantee if there was a Death Star to visit, if there was Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, or Obi-Wan, young Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, people would be flocking to Galaxy's Edge to take part in it and be a part of it. And it's just not there. Or at least it's not there yet. Maybe they're going to have to do something and bring some of the Star Wars icons to Star Wars Land. Like, Star Wars Land should have the icons. Harry Potter Land has the icons. And I think that's probably the main, that's probably the main issue. And then another big thing I think too is that when you actually look at what's available at Galaxy's Edge right now, so you have Smuggler's Run. Like I said, I haven't been there yet, but the reviews on it are like 50-50. I've seen some people say like it's great. It's definitely not the best attraction. Flight of Passage right here over here at Animal Kingdom is always rated as one of the best attractions, not only at Animal Kingdom or at a Disney World park, but parks around the country. Like, it's always rated as one of the top attractions. But Smuggler's Run has not been getting those kind of reviews. So you only have Smuggler's Run. You can go get a lightsaber made. I mean, it's $200 plus I think there's like another, you pay for your Kyber crystal, so that's another 15. So that's, let's just say $215 to get a lightsaber made. What do you do with that though? Like once you come home, I guess you just stick it on the wall or something, which is fine. But then we've had access to lightsabers, Star Wars lightsabers for years, so it's not something new. A lot of people already have Star Wars lightsabers, and they didn't pay $200 for them. I guess the experience would be kind of cool. But here's my thing: what if you have a family of 4? You have husband and wife and 2 kids. The way I understand it is 1 parent and 1 child. So you would have to get 2 lightsabers for both kids to get the experience of having a lightsaber made. That's $400 and some, in addition to your park ticket or your annual pass and your food, whatever else you're going to buy, t-shirts, hats, whatever else you're going to get. That becomes very, very, very expensive. And on top of that, you got Oga's Cantina, the bar. It looks kind of cool, but I've heard that like drinks are kind of expensive. The staff I've heard is not super friendly. Whether that's on purpose or not, I don't know. But either way, if it's on purpose, and so many people are complaining about the staff not being friendly, maybe you should step that back a little bit. But aside from that, droids. So if you want to get a droid made, from understanding, you spend like $100 and some to have a droid made. So my whole thing is, if you don't spend the $200 for a lightsaber or the $100 or whatever it is for the droid, you don't even get to experience that. I was almost thinking, like I was talking to my brother about a couple nights ago, I said, I almost could see like at some point in the future where they're just going to have to allow everybody to make a lightsaber, and then at the end you can have a choice to buy it. I don't know, like I don't like to use the term fair all the time, but if I've paid admission to get into the park and I don't get to experience 2 out of the 3 experiences in Galaxy's Edge, well, that kind of stinks. And I think that's something maybe some people are thinking about too, is that there's a big cost. Galaxy's Edge is it's just not a cheap it's not a cheap experience by any means. I mean, look, if you go to Disneyland and want to ride Pirates of the Caribbean, it doesn't cost you anything extra to ride Pirates of the Caribbean. Or if you wanted to do Small World, it doesn't cost extra to Small World. But Galaxy's Edge essentially is like a whole nother, you have to have a budget. Like it's just a whole nother budget into your trip. And yeah, so I think it's 2 things then really hanging up Galaxy's Edge. One is just the lack of iconic Star Wars characters, iconic sets from Star Wars. There's no Hoth, no Dagobah again, no Death Star, none of the things that Star Wars people really think of when they think of Star Wars. Like I said, Batuu is something created for Galaxy's Edge that none of us know. And I'm a big Star Wars guy. I still don't understand what it is. I guess maybe it's in a comic book, but I don't read comics. Harry Potter nails it with all of the icons and the iconic sets from the films, from the movies, and you see Hogwarts and Diagon, but you just don't have that in Star Wars Land. It doesn't make sense to me why Star Wars Land does not have those Star Wars iconic sets. And I think for a lot of people, it's the same thing. Like they'll go see Galaxy's Edge when the time is right, but there's absolutely no need to rush to Galaxy's Edge. And that's kind of how I am. Like if there was these iconic characters at Disneyland right now, and if there was these iconic lands to go, or iconic sets from the movies like Hoth or Death Star, I probably would have made the trip out there already this summer to see it. But since it's not there, we've already just made the decision. We'll just wait till it opens here in a couple more weeks in Orlando. And then in the cost, and I just think there's not enough experiences versus the cost. The $200 lightsaber, expensive. Robot, expensive. Droid, expensive. Yeah, that kind of, so, yeah, I think that kind of, I know I rambled for a while about this. I wasn't exactly sure I wanted to go with it, but from my perspective, those are the issues that I see with it. Now here's the thing. Once it opens in Orlando's a different animal. Orlando is a tourist park. It's not a locals park. I mean, people from all over the country are coming here, all over the world. It's the #1 tourist destination on Earth. So, I mean, I think when people come to Hollywood Studios, they're going to visit Galaxy's Edge. Just like when they come to Animal Kingdom, they're going to go to Flight of Passage. So I don't think that people are going to be deterred here in Orlando. And I think success-wise, it'll probably do much better here in Orlando. I don't know how many people, what am I trying to say? Success-wise, how much better things like lightsabers are going to do. Again, that $200 is a lot of money. That's just for one person, $200. So you know, I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. I think, though, the attendance will be much bigger in Orlando just due to when people come here, they're going to, you know, they're on multi-day passes and they want to experience Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. Well, when you go to Hollywood Studios, you want to see all there is to offer. And, of course, Galaxy's Edge is a big thing to offer, so you're going to go do it. Yeah, I think that plays that'll play a big difference, too. So I think we're going to see something different between Hollywood Studios and Disneyland. But, you know, in marketing, we like to use test markets. And Disneyland essentially has been a test market for Disney World. Now, you have to look at the variables, and there are some distinct differences, but obviously between World and Land. And that Land is a locals park, and World is a international tourist destination, biggest one on Earth. So there are going to be some differences there. But you also have to look at if there are any core issues between Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge, or if there are any core issues with Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge. And I think there are. I think I summed them up. And, you know, maybe this could actually in the future be a good thing, that Disney will have to bring in some original trilogy characters, even some meet and greets. I'd just like to go meet Darth Vader or Luke. It'd be kind of cool. Or maybe in the future for an expansion, they'll expand and they'll have a Tatooine. Or, you know, Jabba the Hutt or something. That'd be kind of cool to go see a Jabba animatronic. How cool would that be? So maybe in the future, maybe it's a blessing in disguise for us fans that maybe we will actually get to see some of that stuff down the road. But it'll be interesting to see. Galaxy's Edge will be opening here very, very soon in Orlando. I anticipate it's going to be ridiculously busy in the beginning. But let's see if it's going to hold on to that, to those long lines and long queues, or if they're going to die off quickly like they have in California. So anyway, guys, if you've watched this whole video, I appreciate it. I know I rambled a lot and talked a lot. I don't do these kind of videos very often. I don't like to do videos on things that are very controversial. So this, and you know what stinks is that Star Wars has become controversial, and I don't think it should be. I think as fans, we should just be able to talk about the good and the bad and how we personally feel about it. But anyway, that's a wrap on this video, guys. If you're new to the channel, give us a little subscribe down below. We really, really appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with some of what I'm saying with Galaxy's Edge? With, you know, there's two central problems that I think are going on with lack of iconic characters and scenes and just the overall cost of doing the experiences. Or do you think it could be something else? Is it all just annual pass holders in California being blocked out? It'd actually be interesting to hear from you guys out in Anaheim or out in California. If you know, what are you guys thinking out there? But anyway, we'll find out here very soon. So, and I think we'll be doing more of these type of videos in the future. So yeah, subscribe, give it a like, thumb it up, and we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.